Hey, hey, hey. Here we go. Back with it. And oh boy, is it going to be a whole lot of fun here, folks. Lineup for today, 8 Pros bracket, $100 on the line. Mini Minter, Boss, the God RF, Mohamed Light, Boeufmac, Airsurfer, Rubén, and Schwarzen. What a lineup we have today, folks. And of course, if I'm bringing you this kind of lineup, it means I'm bringing you some serious commentary help. Hello, I'm Rich Slaton. How are you? And joining me on voice, one of the best to ever do it. And what am I talking about? To grill. I don't know how he is at Clash Royale, but I know this man can grill. That's Colton on voice with me. What's up, dude?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Dude, it's always fun to have you here, and we got a great lineup. Yes, to answer, Javi isn't playing. Had a last-second thing, had to drop out. So Mini Minter has gracefully stepped in to help round out our 8-person bracket. And this is, as I said before, brought to you by Geyser. And I'll go ahead and throw the link for Geyser into the show notes or into the chat right now. I do regular $100 open tournaments, plus they also have head-to-head play available on Geyser as well. This is just going to be, and I'll show you guys the bracket here in just a few minutes, this is going to be an 8-person single-elimination, best-of-5 bracket, ban on first loss, all using the Geyser app. Let's take a look at our first matchup of the day. It's going to be Schwarzen versus Mini Minter, followed by Boeufmac and the God RF. Airsurfer faces off against Boss in the first round, and then kicks Light, Mohamed Light, up against the Pride of Spain, Team Queso's Rubén. It's going to be a fun one. Ooh, it's got a hot Prime sub over on the Twitch side. Thank you very much. And, of course, all of you on the family Trovo, appreciate it. Gavin, very much thank you for the rose. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to tell our players to kick off our first match. Give me 1 second here, folks. Of course, this is the overall lineup. And we'll get our first game going here in just 1 second. And, of course, I'll be giving you guys the Geyser link in chat. It's a great way to play competitive Clash Royale. So you can do head-to-head challenges. There are open tournaments every single day. Sponsored by Clash with Ash or CWA. Sponsored by myself. Sponsored by Geyser. It's ours.
He's not in clan. You have to spectate through 4.
Yep. All right. Here we go. Schwarzen versus Mini Minter. Let me get the game sound down a little bit here.
So is this a no big spell variant from Schwarzen, I wonder? It's either big spell or minor. I would assume minor, though.
Yeah, you're probably right. Although, no, this one has not been running minor, I believe. This one from Schwarzen is just the Mortar Skeleton Barrel. We saw this a lot this last weekend in the finals for the No Tilt World Championship.
I guess you have enough pressure with Skeleton Barrel and Spear Gobs and a decently fast cycle.
It gets around. The Skeleton Barrel, the death damage of Skeleton Barrel just gets really, really annoying in this deck.
Yeah, that and Mortar. It's just like two semi-win conditions are enough, and then you have really solid defense.
So here we go, final minute of regulation.
Fireball probably also helps in this matchup when they stack up pushes like this. More so than a minor would. No hit. I can definitely see this being a deck that with Mortar that can often like win in tiebreaker too. Like even if you could defend well, you don't even necessarily have to take a tower. Lots of constant small pressure.
Get everything sorted on my end.
Ooh, Musk has to be used on the non-balloon side. That's definitely hits. He'll Mortar, but I think that should still be. No? Cycles with Spear Gobs, it may be a hit. I think it's still a hit. No? Just dead damage. That was pretty well defended after Schwarzen had to use Musketeer on the right lane.
Yeah, most of the time, the Mini Minter should have at least the troops that distract Mortar, but it's distracting Mortar and then also making sure that Snowball's in cycle when you have so many targets for it, right? You have the Skeleton Barrel, which is the #1 target you want for it. But then you're stuck in a weird situation trying to defend against the Gang and the Spears and all those different
pieces.
pieces.
King Tower? Yeah, it is.
Wow, slick.
Yeah, no, I definitely like this for Schwarzen, it seems like, and he's playing it really well. That's interesting to have the balloon go first and then the lumber second, because he wants the lumber to be kind of a bigger threat, and it can be against those small units. That King Tower actually helped a lot there. I expected him to go Snowball on the Spear God, so he decides to cycle on another offense. And it's dangerous because if he snowballs ever on offense, his Skeleton Barrel counters are really bad.
Yeah, you're stuck with playing using Snowball on defense, and then trying to get past the Mortar is absolutely brutal. So, going to be a rough opening game here for Mini Minter. Final 20 seconds of sudden death overtime, and yeah, just no real way to break through. And that's what the one thing that's annoying about this deck, because this is the deck that I've been playing. I've been playing the Minions version over the Skeleton Dragons version, primarily. But when you can't use the Snowball at all on offense, if you don't get a balloon connection in single elixir, it gets really annoying trying to win a game. Because you can lock down defensively pretty well, but if you don't get a balloon in single, it just you're fighting from behind the whole time, and it can be real frustrating.
I can see how, like, if you have a decent cycle, if your opponent has like a decent cycle of building and good air defense, it's going to be hard to break through. That's where, like, I guess the weakness of the deck where it doesn't have a miner, so you don't have chip as an option. You really have to break through and have to have pressure both sides. So that's one of the weaknesses of the deck. But otherwise, typically, you have really solid defenses and counter pushes, but. In those more like control style matchups, it can be a problem if your opponent has good air defense, it seems like.
Yeah, it can be really annoying. I mean, like there's been a lot more. I've been running a lot of weird bait with Inferno Tower lately. Maybe it's because this deck is popular. Because the balloon, because they can usually handle the 6-man, the Royal Recruits pretty easily, and then of course the balloon just right into an Inferno Tower every single time. So there we go. Game number 1 for Schwarzen. All right, here we go. Jumping into game number 2.
Schwarzen got a lot of damage with a split Royal Hogs that also kited a Lumberjack. It was really nice. But Mini Minter did get a King Tower activation. Not sure it's worth losing like half the tower, but at that point he was going for it, and he got it on the Royal Hogs.
So Diego B is going to Misfits, says Jalord, or Mini. I've heard Diego B going to Chivas as the big rumor. So we'll see if that ends up panning out or not.
Interesting.
So, the most interesting version of this deck, and I'm wondering if this is what Schwarzen's doing. He's probably not, but we saw Airsurfer this weekend running essentially a combination of these two decks. This 6-loon deck, but with Royal Hogs as part of it.
Yeah, and Airsurfer likes Royal Hogs a lot, so that doesn't surprise me. I mean, it works because it's like 2 split pressure cards, right? Like a split pressure win condition. But I think this is probably, it's just the Mega Knight version then.
A non-German running pigs. Who would have thought? I thought it was exclusively the purview of Sam and Morton and the rest of their countrymen. Schwarzen up 1-0, and as you guys might have noticed on the screen, Mini Minter has chosen to save his ban, so not going to activate it at this point, although he might want it after this game. Schwarzen taking tower with just 30 seconds left, and all he has to do is defend that left-hand side. Fireball, Fisherman, Skeleton Dragons. Will that be enough? And does he have to use Skellies to block? Does not. Death damage in, and pressures the opposite lane. What do you think about that, Colton? I've been seeing Fireball get mixed into some decks that typically don't run it. Obviously, Schwarzen running Fireball in this isn't that strange for it being a Royal Hogs deck. But we also saw some variations of Hog Triple Spell this weekend with Fireball instead of EQ. It kind of felt like it might have been going for a snipe with that move, but
I mean, it depends on like if your I mean, that's pretty matchup dependent or player dependent. Like if they run a lot of defenses or if they like to run no defenses. Obviously, it was nice that he took. If he had Earthquake there was no way he wins that matchup because his Musk would be his literally only air defense. His Fireball bailed them out on defense a bunch there. But yeah, I think Fireball is decent. In that deck, I don't think you necessarily need Earthquake with Royal Hogs as much as you do like a Hog deck.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hold on, let's go ahead and get the ban in.
The next as well.
Yep, ban is in for Mini Minter. It's going to be Musketeer, so let's go ahead and jump in to that game. And I'll have that ban up on screen in just a second, folks.
Barbs are pretty nice versus Royal Hogs. They kill it for minimal damage, and it's a really nice counter push.
And there you go. There's your Muskie ban.
Does he have Fireball? Oh god, that would have been so much Fireball
That would
value.
have been all the Fireball value at once. I feel like when you see
Still a hit,
Barbs,
though.
you don't see Fireball on that same deck very often these days.
That's true. Every now and then you see it in Lava, but other than that, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it depends. Actually, they do run the. So this is Lava, I think, right?
Yeah,
it's the
Lava.
Arrows version.
Yeah.
You'll see it sometime in the variations, and I've seen some Sparky decks that have Barbs and Fireball, but yeah. I mean, just because they're so expensive, you want to make your spell less expensive.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Lava Miner Barbs was pretty crazy popular, but lately this has been running Tombstone. And it seems like right now, if you see Tombstone, the only deck you think it's going to be in is Lava Loon.
Yeah, for sure. 3 Musks are going to be real good in this situation.
Yeah, you're not worried about them getting big spelled off here.
I mean, you would have to like Miner Arrows and Zap to take it down.
And the balloon doesn't connect.
Arrows now, does that kill with death damage? Basically. So it doesn't, but it does because Pup's got some damage on the other Musks. That's weird to zap that, in my opinion. Why would you zap that? I mean, I guess.
Saved the tower. Saved it, forces him to spend
Yeah, but like Royal Hogs are almost guaranteed damage.
That's a fair point.
So like, here's one big. Is that really worth it? I don't think it's worth it. That's pretty aggressive to save the 1 HP tower and you just let your other tower go super low.
Might be
I think it'd be different if it was like 500 HP.
I get the feeling, but it also might be the only way to get this tower, which looks like he's going to do. So now the question is, can he win the 2-tower game here?
Yeah, I don't think he will because 3 Musks on defense on left side is pretty impossible to defend. But we'll see. And I don't think he saves left tower now that he let it get the damage. But that is a big counter push.
Barb Barrel in, Hunter behind, Ice Golem to stop everything there, and that's going to be
He's getting
by
3
Schwarzen.
crowns.
Yeah. This is going to be a quick 3-0 here for Schwarzen. Moving on, and oh yes, to answer the question on Trovo, guys, sorry if I haven't been as chat engaging, trying to make sure everything here is working, we getting this tournament actually flowing. And yeah, this is going to be tower down. Quick, easy 3-0 for Schwarzen. What's the prize pool for this? $100, $70 to first place, and $30 to second place. And yes, I will be casting throughout the Bren Chong Cup, including a qualifier tomorrow, as opposed to an open tournament. So instead of me doing an open tournament for $100, I'm casting a qualifier for a $6,000 tournament. So, you know, take what you can get. You know what I'm saying there, folks? This is the 8 Pros bracket. Who's this boomer on the call? Colton, you just got called a boomer in chat. How about
I think
that?
I'm a little bit too young, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, you're working on it. You're working on it. Let me go ahead and see
Aging every day.
if every single day, and I'm proud of you. Let's go ahead and we'll jump into Airsurfer versus Boss.
Going back to that last match, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's true that against 3M you can defend low HP towers, but against Royal Hogs, when you don't have a good way to stop them, it's like, is it really worth playing Barbs and Inferno Dragon to stop 1 Royal Hog out of 4?
And here we go. Game number 1 on its way. I might have to mess with the overlay here just a little bit, guys. So when it's the wrong players on the wrong side. Yes, and it is the wrong players on the wrong side. Nailed it. You know, Colt, maybe I'll let you take over the cast here for a second while I get everything all sorted out.
Okay. So Boss is going to be running the mortar deck that we saw earlier from Schwarzen, most likely. And then Airsurfer is going to be running a just minor control, but instead of Inferno Tower, he has Tesla. Minor 2.9, except with Tesla, it is cheaper.
There we go. I think we got everything.
Got a ton of connections. Oh, so Airsurfer, okay. Instead of poison, he has roll delivery. Oh, or I've seen this deck. Okay, yeah. So instead of Ice Spirit, he has roll delivery, and then he still has poison, I believe.
It's interesting that there's been this, you know, there's been so much conversation about minor being pretty much killed and that minor control is no longer viable, but this version has been showing up a little bit competitively. Is there what are people missing that makes this still a viable deck?
I guess this deck seems like it has fairly good defense against Balloon, and I would say it seems decent against Mortar here. It's interesting too that it uses Rule Delivery after Rule Delivery's been nerfed. Not many other decks use that anymore. That was good Rule Delivery on defense. I don't know. It's just Miner's still viable. It's just not as good as it was. I mean, when it was first out, it was the best card in the game, and then even more recently, it was one of the top cards. You definitely saw it more to tank for secondary win conditions than you saw it as a solo win condition. But this deck is pretty solid defense-wise. These decks have kind of similar ideas. They have pressure and then good defense. They're control decks, and then you kind of just try to chip your opponent out slowly. I would say Airsurfer's deck seems pretty nice here, though, because he has double small spell, which is always nice against mortar decks. Gives him that other option for stopping the skeleton barrel while still being able to use spells on offense.
And Tesla High here, of course, can be a consistent response. One of the many responses.
Boss did a really good job of blocking it there, though.
Yeah, the high. Yeah, Musketeer forces out more as well. Mortar not going to get another shot, 1606 to 1496 as we go into sudden death overtime. And now Boss switching lanes, and that'll be one way to keep the Tesla from picking up mortar shots.
Yeah, so at this point, Mortar definitely wants to switch lanes, because if he keeps going same lane, that Mortar is just going to get blocked into a poison. And since you have so much damage already, you don't mind overcommitting to do that. Not to mention, Mortar is the only consistent threat that Airsurfer really has to deal with, because he has the small spells for the Swarm cards. So as you can see, Boss is heavily defending Mortars because Airsurfer doesn't really have a great way of stopping it. Assuming Boss can catch Teslas, which he has done every time so far.
Yeah, so what does Airsurfer do differently about the mortar then, since the Tesla's not paying off for him?
Ooh, that time it doesn't get blocked. That was a nice Tesla, because he assumed Boss was going to use Knight on Miner, and he did. So that worked out well. But typically I would say Airsurfer's best answer, other than like catching it with the surprise Tesla, that'd be the best, but that's kind of more risky, I guess, is like a low Knight to kite it opposite lane or even same lane, and then from there you just kind of have to cycle Skellies or go low E-Wiz and kind of attack it with maybe Log as well. So you can see though that his answers get a little bit, and then sometimes he has to miner it. It's just basically whatever you can to kill it. That's whatever he has in hand.
So for the moment, holding on though, if that Tesla's staying up, that's going to be helpful.
I'm going to say I like that Tesla too, because it can distract the mortar while also killing the things that are coming forward.
Look at me, I'm thinking like a pro here, almost. 9:44 right-hand lane, final 30 seconds. All Boss really needs is to get this mortar to connect one time here. But the question is, can he do it? Triple spell, Log and poison for Airsurfer on the right-hand side.
And Airsurfer's being really smart about it too. He's not leaving anything to chance. Every time he thinks the Tesla might go underground, he's dropping skeletons to attract the mortar in the time that is a damage as well.
688 right-hand side, poison in. Boss trying to spell cycle. Can he catch up here? Not going to happen. 501 to 568. Very, very close first game between Boss and Airsurfer.
Yeah, and it worked out really close there, because while poison does more damage overall, it didn't get all of its ticks off, while fireball is obviously instant. So the fireball log, I mean, like a second difference there, and fireball log could have actually edged out poison based on time.
And I think I might even have... There we go, I have stats finally. There we go, kids. All right. Only took halfway through the show for me to get my stats up and running. So game number 1 in the books. Airsurfer with the lead over Boss. And, of course, these two went head-to-head in the No Tilt World Championship. Over on the Twitch chat, who is this Kicks kid? Yeah, that'd be Mohamed Light, who I've heard he knows how to play Clash Royale pretty well. You know, there's been a lot of rookies coming into CRL this season, Colton. CR Sucks or CRS, depending on whichever one to call him. Boss, Mohamed Light, all going into the eastern side, and then over on the western side, we're kind of not sure yet because there's going to be some interesting possibilities. Schwarzen being one of them potentially. What are your thoughts on some of the rookies that are coming in?
Oh, I mean, they're definitely good players, and it's like, so they're rookies, but they've certainly been around the Clash Royale esports scene for quite a while. Whether it be age or not having the right connections, now that they've continued to improve as players, they're giving their shots based off of these tournaments that are allowing them to show how good they are against pros and against each other, and like no tilts and stuff like that. Oh, I was gonna say the matchup data for that. That was interesting because it obviously doesn't get played very often. The closest thing is 6 out of 8. And it's only 40 sample size.
Yeah, it's an interesting. The matchup data thing is interesting, and we've talked about this a lot. It's the data does pull from everything, and there's a question of, and Miner's going to be Boss did get a ban in here, so Miner will be the ban for Boss. We'll go ahead and get that one all ready to rock, and we'll jump into game number 2. It's one of those questions about when you look at all that data. Certain decks, it seems like the data is a somewhat accurate reflection. When some of it, of course, less accurate, and also it depends on whether you're talking about 2 pros playing or overall. When you're looking at that data, what does the actual gap, the difference need to be between like the margin of error for you to actually kind of look at that data and go, okay, I feel like this is accurate representation of this deck sort of in all situations?
I mean, I think sample size is the biggest thing, and then obviously like the cards being accurate. It's going to be more accurate the more the matchup is played. And yeah, it's a weird thing when you think about how the people they use, like if it's a ladder match. But typically I'd say you're seeing those really like well-constructed decks higher in ladder. Other than like real classics like 2.6 and like Log Bait, you're not seeing the newest version of Loon Cycle at like 5,000 trophies usually, I would say. So I would say it's usually, if the data is consistent, like sample size wise, I'd say it's usually consistent. That's kind of an unlucky fisherman. Gets played right into Roll Hogs, does really not much about anything because he's trying to pull the Magic Archer there. Yeah,
it's interesting. I'm wondering what he was looking at from Airsurfer. You know, I mean, Magic Archer not insanely popular in the meta, so you see Royal Recruits, Fisherman, and then Magic Archer is your first 3 cards. I guess I'm wondering what he was putting Boss on.
Yeah, that was a really good defense. He blocks Musk, and then Hunter comes out. This is some... So Airsurfer is going to want to try to get around. If he can outcycle the Hunter, I feel like he can really break through because only a Magic Archer there for Boss, and it's not a very good air defense against a Balloon. But can you find the time to attack with having to defend the pressure from Royal Recruits? That's something that's interesting. Like, even if you don't have a fast cycle, if you're able to pressure and make your opponent defend, you don't necessarily have to have one because they can't attack as easily if they're defending. Because if they did attack, it would be risky, and they would just tower trade.
And this is interesting. So you're seeing the Skeleton Dragons come out as a defense against Recruits, which obviously splash damage, split lane ability, all those things together. But that Magic Archer is completely ruining the Skeleton Dragons, especially with them being distracted.
Yeah, and so far we've seen no big spell from either player. I guess Boss most likely just has a small spell, and then Airsurfer we know doesn't have one. Doesn't have a big spell, so Magic Archer is obviously going to get a lot of value, and you'll see that with like Magic Archer and Musketeer. If your opponent doesn't have a big spell, they stay alive, and protecting them is like of the utmost importance.
What do you think about Magic Archer right now? We're not seeing a ton of Magic Archer. It seems like he's fairly well balanced. And it
Yeah, I would say just well balanced. His counter push is massive. Heal Spirit may get a lot of value here too.
Do you think it's the popularity of Balloon and Royal Giant that's limiting the Magic Archer play?
You know, I'd say that's a good assessment. And then counter push. Yeah. Yeah, I agree because Magic Archer's terrible against both of those win conditions. And it's just not as good as it used to be. But I mean, in the decks that it fits in, it does its job still. So it's balanced, I would say.
All right, so there you go. Game number 2 in the books in this one. And you can see that one matchup data. Sample size small, but the cards right on the money. And Airsurfer takes game number 2 in this one.
Yeah, and like I said, the Hunter was going to be, I mean, the key there. Like, the air defense for Boss is rather bad. When he was keeping up pressure, he was always getting some damage with his Roll Hogs. But finally in double, Airsurfer was really able to get a large counter push. He takes damage, sure, but he's able to get a large counter push. And Hunter's really good at taking out small pushes. Hunter's not very good at taking big stacked up pushes. Like if he has a big spell there, Fireball gets amazing value. But since he doesn't, Hunter is not good at taking when things are in front of the balloon and tanking for it, like the Lumberjack was, and the Fisherman is out there. There's just too much stuff to enable Hunter to get a good amount of value there and be able to defend.
Here we go, jumping right into game 3. Sponge, thanks for stopping by, and I appreciate everyone for throwing the on fires there in the Trovo chat. Grandpa Ivy, stop taking notifications at 4 a.m. when I wake up to pee. Yeah, well, you can't miss the action here, Grandpa Ivy. It's all the good stuff. Besides, who's going to harass American Clash Royale players at 4 a.m. if you're not awake? On Facebook.
It is looking... It's looking like a mirror. I mean, it definitely is a mirror.
You know what's interesting? We didn't see...
But the Minions version... That seemed really aggressive from Boss. Let's see if it pays off. I mean, it's a hit so far. Yeah, it paid off.
Yeah, hit and death damage, not too bad. Plus, the Minions put a little bit extra pressure. One should get 2 swings, I think. Or just 1 swing. 2 swings come in, 1138 on the right-hand side.
Yeah, that worked out really well. That was kind of an interesting thing where Skeleton Dragon Splash isn't quite the most amazing thing. So he went Balloon out in front, and then the Minions were able to threaten the Skeleton Dragons along with a Snowball. So I didn't know where Cycle was because I just joined the replay, but that ended up being really aggressive, but paid off really well for Boss there.
6-man split in the back, 3-3 for Boss with a minute left, and solid lead here to start things off. Do you think that if Fisherman, I mean, obviously the Royal Recruits get a big jump in use whenever the Fisherman is powerful. And hey, Sandy, how are you? OP mod and sub in the Trovo chat. And who is co-casting? That would be Colton.
Ew.
Do you think that Royal Recruits, I mean, we're seeing so much value. Is it just because Fisherman is powerful right now? Or do you think that this will persist when Fisherman isn't as powerful?
I mean, Royal Recruits are just like a fairly decent card that, depending on meta, and yeah, I mean, I think it's Fisherman that makes him good. If he's bad, I don't think they get used. Because when he was bad, we didn't see them used in that card. Well, they also did buff it a little bit, though.
It did get a little bit of a buff, and then...
So the combination of those things.
I guess we're also in a big splash. Like, the meta has been very splashy for a while. Raged up Balloon, Snowball, trying to keep it off the tower. Not going to connect. Death damage in Minions, though. Might get a couple more swipes, and that should be... We're
no, I think the counter push may win here for Airsurfer, actually. We'll see.
Does Boss get to a Snowball in time? He does not. Balloon connects 3-0 for Airsurfer.
So the offensive Snowball ended up costing him some there. That mirror match plays odd, though. It's like balloon damage can't really be stopped fully. It's just a matter of like whose counter push does more damage.
So there you go. You can see the matchup, and this sample size is pretty good. And it looks like the Skeleton Dragons, according to this at least, have a pretty good advantage over the Minions.
I mean, I believe that. Skeleton Dragons are a better counter to like the Royal Recruits. So like you can split Skeleton Dragon in the back and have them do a lot of damage to Royal Recruits. It's pretty good against Loon. Minions kind of give the offensive snowballs more value, I would say. Like if you snowball a Skeleton Drag, I don't feel it's as useful as a Minion snowball like on offense. And Skeleton Drag, of course, in the direct matchup between minions, they destroy them. So I can see how Skeleton Drag would be a little bit more useful there.
Let's see, trying to track down one of our players here. Who's co-casting? Yeah, that would be Colton co-casting. Let's see, let's go start match in app.
I think you've been seeing a lot, though, like in these matches between Airsurfer and Boss. Boss just seems to be and sometimes it's gotten the better of him. I feel like he's more aggressive. And even when it's like a measured aggression, I feel like Airsurfer has done a really good job in all their games of playing slow and a little bit more calculated. He'll play for the defense and counter push, and then the counter push will just overwhelmingly win the game for him.
Yeah, I mean, is that just youth? Is that nerves? What do you credit that to?
I mean, I think Airsurfer in general is plays more safe, but not even like safe. He likes playing defensive, defending well, but he makes sure that, I mean, and that's like a general skill for Clash Royale. Like a really good skill to have is being able to defend while taking some damage, allowing most of your troops to be full HP, and then attacking really hard in the counter push. Decks like Loon are good at that. Bridge spam decks are good at that, and Roll Hogs, which he plays a lot and likes. So, I mean, it's a general skill, but you can tell even against pros, it's a little bit more pronounced with Airsurfer, and I would say like 2 games now he's won because of that, where he defended, especially in the almost mirror match, he defends well, and then Musketeer defense has been really important in these games as well. So, protecting the important cards and then counter pushing really hard.
All right, let's see. Mohamed Light's ready to go. We're getting Rubén in there and ready to rock. And we'll do that one, and then it's going to be Boeufmac versus RF after that one. And of course, here's the overall slate for today. And I just saw someone signed up on Geyser. Pretty cool, guys. And let me go ahead and throw the link in there one more time. Geyser does some cool stuff. You can do, not only are there brackets or overall leaderboard tournaments every single day, a lot sponsored by CWA, sponsored by Ash, some by me as well, and all throughout Clash Royale, a lot of different creators sponsoring tournaments on Geyser. You can also do head-to-head matchups. You can do head-to-head matchups also in all of the different game modes. So whether you want to play whatever game, I think the 9 different active game modes that are out there, all of those can be done on the Geyser app. So you can play people in different elixir modes and different capture modes, a lot of different crazy stuff. So here we go. Let's jump into our next match. I did not change the overlay yet, so I will do it in real time as things are happening. And as you can see, rocket right to the Musketeers to open things up.
Yeah, interesting that Rubén went first play 3 months. Ooh, and then rocket and a bomb tower showing for Kickslate. So maybe a wall breaker deck. We don't see this one as much though. Like I'm thinking like NATO Ice Wiz wall breakers.
And I shouldn't have been talking the whole time. Here I am chatting away, and then the overlay is behind. Oh, God, guys, the overlay is behind!
Okay. That is the matchup versus Royal Hogs 3 Musk. Yep, and that'll be a NATO activation on the Ghost. Yeah. So this should be interesting. I mean, in double, I think Rubén can pressure and possibly break through. The defense on like really big pushes aren't nearly as solid. Having Valk helps a bit. I think this should be pretty good for Mohamed Light, though. I'm interested to see later in the game when he stops. I wonder if he'll stop splitting behind the King Tower. It's kind of a free rocket. That's kind of an error in judgment by Rubén too. Why would you put the 2 Musk on the side that's already taken a rocket? That's so much free damage. You'd want to split the 2 Musk towards the left side there. There's like kind of no excuse for that, but
from a player of Rubén's caliber as well.
Yeah, I mean, so the only argument I can see being made for it is like you want to attack with the remaining Musk on the tower that's lower, but it was like 200 HP lower, so that's really not worth the amount of damage that the rocket is going to do on the more weak tower already. So I don't like that.
Let's see, Khalifa Dubs asking, is Geyser safe and reliable to use? Yes, super. In terms of that, every single transaction is, I think the term is double encrypted. maybe the Geyser people can jump in on the Twitch chat and answer some of those questions as well. But yes, it is completely safe. I use it myself, and yeah, all the transactions are encrypted, so pretty cool. And yeah, it's still in early access, so they're building out some of the different pieces to it, but a really fun way to expand competitive Clash Royale, and also from just from both, whether you're participating in open tournaments or running them, it smooths the process of doing winnings at the end. So instead of having to wait for a creator to do PayPal, or as a creator having to go PayPal all the individual people who won, there's a system in there where before you start the tournament, you can actually see, even on this tournament, if you go look in the Geyser app, you add in what the prize is going to be, and the breakdown when the tournament's over, all the players can go and choose how they want to receive their prizes, whether it's in Apple, iTunes gift cards, Google Play gift cards, even like a Visa cash card, different sort of things like that. So very, very simple way of doing that. Is there a code to use on Geyser, something like that? No, Preto, just use the link that I put there in the chat, and that's it. Just take that link, and you can go sign up and start playing today.
So I like that Mohamed Light here hasn't been getting greedy with his rockets. He's still just killing the 2-must side and trying to defend. Rubén's playing this really well though in double, like I was saying, and especially in triple. It'll get better for Rubén. Up to this point, he's been not using. Ooh, that rocket's not exactly perfect. It's not terrible either. He's been mostly not using his roll hogs. Doesn't want to get the bomb tower too much value, and instead is pressuring with his other cards, which actually give Mohamed Light quite a lot of problems. Ghost combined with Fisherman and those surviving Musketeers can be an issue. And Rubén has also been defending beautifully, quickly killing the Miner, and then bar barreling basically always takes out all the damage for Mohamed Light here. Going to continue to see the rockets on the must. He has to do that. If he was to ever get greedy and not do that, he would really get punished by the must on both sides overpowering him.
But it feels like with the Valkyrie, the bomb tower, all those pieces together, like, not going to be super concerned about the hogs.
Yeah, but everything else is, so like when you use that Valk, it's hard for him to not get Fisherman hooked, and then once the Valk is out of hand, he has no solid defense to any of the pressure cards. So that's where we see it. And then here, Rubén has that out of cycle. He gets back to it. It's a little bit of an awkward position. I did like Mohamed's Light switch of lanes there. The second he had enough damage from rockets on the other side, he threw a Miner out, which didn't allow Rubén to attack quite as much. And here it'll look like it'll just be tower damage. And those connect, but it didn't matter. It was already low enough.
So solid win here from Light in game number 1.
Yeah, and Mohamed Light has like good splash and everything, so it looks like it would be easy. And of course, besides like Rubén's like one mistake with splitting, and I don't even think it ended up costing him because the other tower took more damage. It was really well played by Mohamed Light. I don't think it's as easy as you would think for that matchup, but he played it pretty like textbook, and he didn't really make any mistakes, honestly.
Oh, and that overlay or that scoreboard should update here in just a second. So we'll try to track down what happened to RF. So we'll keep an eye out on where he is for his match. And the ban for Rubén's going to be Tornado. So Tornado now going to be off the board for the remainder. And that makes you feel like maybe he's going back to 3 Musketeers again?
Perhaps. The NATO didn't even really mean anything in that matchup. The way he used it, like he mainly just used it to pull roll hogs and like other things back into the bomb tower. He didn't really use it on the 3 Musketeers at all, which I think is an option. But he had rocket, so I think it's different when you like don't have rocket for the 2 must side. I like how he played it. I don't think the NATO was necessarily like a killer, especially with NATO activating King Tower now.
Yeah. That is true, although, and I guess when you're playing minor rocket wall breakers that you don't want that King Tower activation, it might be one of the more heavily affected ones. So yeah, we should be starting game number 2 here in just a moment.
It's not the worst. I would kind of be surprised if Rubén went back to roll hogs. I think he'll play something else. NATO could be a good ban for like Balloon. Yeah. Interesting, we haven't seen any RG today.
Yeah, I mean, this RG is basically the most popular. Oh, there we go. Game is starting up. RG has been the most popular deck on ladder. I mean, is it really just that Heal Spirit is OP and that's what's got that kind of stuck as the #1 deck right now?
I mean, partially, right? Like all the meta decks we're seeing has it. The things it's good with, like the Royal Recruit Loon deck, the Royal Hogs deck, both take good use of it along with RG. So I mean, yeah, it's pretty strong. Ooh, why did he predict Log? Like Skellies, maybe? That's like the only thing he could be hitting with it, I think, is Skellies.
Maybe. I mean, maybe he thought, I don't know, because isn't there a deck that runs Stab Goblins that has those same first few cards as well?
Yeah, but I feel like with the graveyard variants with like Musk, you see skeletons more often, I feel. I mean, if he hit skeletons, it would have been worth it. But that seems a little bit aggressive to start at the game with that prediction before you know. But yeah, I mean, I've seen goblins before, certainly.
So NATO is the ban here with light up 1, going hard triple spell.
I like the idea of pulling out Hog when NATO's banned. It's not bad, obviously. But this is... And then you see Rubén ban NATO and then just run a graveyard variant that doesn't use NATO. And I like it because this deck would be like pretty solid against Balloon, and it's certainly good against Hog.
Yeah, it's one of those things you're thinking about. Like my next question was going to be: do you think that maybe someone's going Balloon or Rubén's thinking about going Balloon? But instead thinking, and that's one of the things I do like about ban on first loss, right? Is the sort of, I think that the difference in mind games of banning mid game as opposed to banning pre game, where people are kind of reacting to the ban almost more emotionally sometimes. And so you'll see something like what Rubén's doing, where he bans NATO, maybe almost trying to bait out a deck like a Balloon deck, and then, as you said, having it going to something that would do well against Balloon.
Yeah, I certainly think I like... Ooh, that was a really nice Heal Spirit. It killed the and then allows one shot. Yeah, so one shot's good. It killed the Heal Spirit. I mean, it killed the skeletons and then allowed the Musk to get a shot on tower.
So you were saying in terms of you're about to talk about the ban.
The ban. Yeah, I think I like ban, and it's a little bit less pre-scripted. Like you don't pick your ban a day before. It's a little bit more in the moment. I definitely like it better after the loss, I think. I mean, you can certainly have an idea of what you want to ban, but then maybe your opponent throws a wrench in your plans while playing a deck you don't expect game one.
Well, one other thing about bans in that way as well is that those bans, like, one complaint about bans is if you want to see a player run the deck they're known for and people keep banning that, pre-banning it against them, that creates a situation where now, you don't get to see your favorite player play their known deck. Well, hey, if there's no bans in game number 1 and only one ban potentially in game 2, that gives those opportunities to see someone like Igor run Mortar or RF run Graveyard, even if someone is looking to ban against them.
True, and I mean it comes with the risk of like that being obvious.
Yeah.
As well. So it adds cool mind games and like things to think about. Yeah, and certainly that is a very difficult matchup for Hog.
All right.
No real way to stop graveyard damage, and pretty good defenses there for like Goblin Cage is like probably the worst defense to use a Earthquake against. Besides maybe like Inferno Tower, but if Inferno Tower is just like being tanked by something, it's not bad.
All right, looks
well,
like
for Hog anyway. If it's a Raw Hog, it's a pretty good Earthquake.
Looks like Light is going to be banning Musk in this one, so no more Musketeer on here. What do you think when you see a Musk ban? What do you think are the possibilities that open up? I mean, especially now with NATO and Musketeer both banned.
So, I mean, that kind of takes out a lot of the things. I mean, the meta right now is like Heal Spirit and Musk, I would say, are like the best cards in the game. And that's why you see them in almost every meta deck. So, I mean, you could just sub like an E-Wiz, or you could run a deck that likes Musk not being available. And let me hop in.
Simper, can I shout out your little brother, Mike? Yes, I would happily shout out your brother, Michael. And that is his entire name with no last name.
I saw that. Okay, so like we see Rubén. He's literally playing
GY cycle.
I mean, it's a slightly different variant, but basically the last deck he just played, but without Musk, right? It's a different variant that exists on its own, but it's just the same deck almost, but without Musketeer. Instead, he has Archers and Mega.
For those of you asking, yes, the bans are global. So neither player can play Muskie or NATO.
And then for Kicks Light, Mohamed Light, we're just seeing a probably Royal Hogs, I guess, maybe 3M, but with the Musketeer being not available, he's running a. I mean, this deck doesn't ever run Musk, but he's running Hunter and Magic Archer as kind of the subs. Ooh! Oh! That cannon cart juked it.
Huge connection there from the cannon cart. 21-10 on the right-hand side, and first blood drawn here by the Egyptian.
I can see how you would miss that. Like the cannon cart kind of swerved and shot at the thing in the middle, and then kept on going.
I wish I could get a. My only regret here today is that because of the late hour, I wasn't able to get the waving flags for Mohammed's Egyptian flag and for Mini Minter's Peruvian flag, because you can see how beautifully.
Oh yeah, they are.
The
awesome.
Spanish flag. Look at that beautiful wave.
So this is gonna be just Royal Hogs, I imagine, and Royal Fruits. I don't think it'll be Balloon without Lumberjack.
It seems unlikely right now.
It's Royal Hogs, I think.
Yeah. The cannon cart also makes it like cannon cart Magic Archer, because you'd have Snowball in here as well if it were Balloon or something.
Yeah.
Some sort of spell like that. So.
Yeah, definitely Royal Hogs. Pretty good defense though. Rubén has like good like flash and split pressures. Like he has a quick cycle, and then he has Valk to deal with the Royal Hogs, and then he has Archers to deal with Royal Recruits. He can Mega Minion for some decent value. And then Goblin Cage, able to distract quite a bit. So to me, it seems like Rubén really just waiting for double Elixir to get some chip, but solid defense. Really, the most of the damage that was on the left side was that unfortunate connection he took. Beautiful Royal Hog timing, though, for Mohamed Light. He did it at the same time that Greybeard went out, so like you're not able to fully commit to offense. And you also don't have the Elixir to defend Royal Hogs by like cycling Skeletons and Goblin Cage.
Well, that cannon cart was great too, because it defended against the graveyard and pulled the tanking troops to the cannon cart. So nice two-part. I mean, I think that maybe that exchange overall might have been better for Rubén in the long run.
That's true. It ended up doing quite a bit of damage. But I do like the Royal Hog timing for the offense on Mohamed Light, because he did get like 1,000 damage almost. But Rubén had no damage, so certainly maybe that works out for him.
Let me give some love to both the chats here. Over on Trovo, Hippie1, good to see you, bud. And Sunquick, I appreciate the support. Guys, everyone on the Trovo family, definitely happy to see you guys. And things were kind of crazy with the stream schedule, in particular because of the No-Tilt World Championship, but we're going to do a bunch of stuff on Trovo here. And those of you guys watching on Twitch, a great way to support is to go watch on Trovo. And to answer your question there, Niels, Geyser, Trovo, Mad Cat, which is it? Mad Cat was the beta name for Trovo. Trovo and Mad Cat, the exact same thing. Geyser is a tournament organizer. So this is a tournament organized by Geyser, streamed on Twitch and Trovo. That answers all your questions, doesn't it? Every single one that you've ever had. Why is the sky blue? Where do babies come from? Ask your father.
Poison value, yeah. So it looks like Rubén's going to run away with this. Mohamed Light doesn't really have a way to connect here, and that's a little bit more damage. As long as he doesn't scuff the defense, this should be pretty easy for him. He's going to have to Valk that, or Skeletons. Interesting.
Really good
I feel like Valk... No? Maybe it was good that he saved Valk in case Royal Hogs came out. We're going to see offensive Royal Hogs here. Valk plus Snowball should be enough, though. Yep.
Log trying to play defense. Can the Magic Archer get one shot?
No.
Oh, what a game. What a game. Rubén holds on by a lick and gets match point here, going into game number 4.
Yeah, I feel like that's, like you have good pressure with the Royal Recruits and you're all in. I feel like Cannon Cart is the key, but yeah, like I was saying, I feel like you have really good answers on Rubén's side there.
Very nice indeed. All right, let's see. So now up 2-1 is Rubén. Game number 4 on its way. In just a second, of course, here's what we're doing. The 8 pros bracket. Still in early access, guys, so you have a chance to get on the front end of what's happening with Geyser. And in particular, if you're saying, hey, I'm great at Clash Royale and I can win some things, go ahead and prove it. There's tournaments running every single day on Geyser. There's bracket tournaments, ladder tournaments, all different kinds of tournaments going, and also head-to-head play in 9 different Clash Royale game modes. So you want to prove that you're the best triple elixir player on the planet? Guess what? You can do it in Geyser. Lots of fun events coming down the pipeline here as well. So make sure that you jump on the train. And check out, by the way, I'll go ahead and throw his link in the his Twitter link in the chat. But you can see the really cool graphic there created by Killua, who does all my thumbnails and graphics and stuff. Giving me the rich in the Geyser theme, which I think is pretty rad. So if you need someone to do some cool graphics work for you, hit up Killua on Twitter. He's super reliable, super fast. And I'm happy to be using him. He's definitely stepped up the thumbnail game on my side. Here we go, game number 4. Rubén with match point. Up against Kix's star rookie.
Looks like we're finally going to get to see Rule Giant
It sure feels like it.
versus Bait. Bait with Inferno Tower.
So it's interesting looking, because there are so many different variations of this RG Fisherman Hunter deck, right? Depending on whether they're using Baby Dragons, Skeleton Dragons, whether they're using Bar Barrel versus Log. And the actual, if you look at the matchup data, the matchups change drastically based on those different pieces. By the way, I didn't see someone said OP Fisherman. Was that how the King Tower activation happened?
I loaded it in the game late.
Yeah,
I would
loaded it
assume
half
so,
second
right?
late, too.
I assume it has. I mean, that's the only way is
Hold a
Fisherman
goblin.
pulling a goblin. Goblin hits that instead. Yeah, there's a placement to do that, so that's what it was. I didn't see it though.
Yeah, I gotta learn that interaction. Jeez.
Good fireball. Yeah, it just like kind of pulls it in between, so it gets stuck hitting that instead of the tower instead of the Fisherman, while another goblin is tanking. Last card for Mohamed Light will be Inferno Tower, I imagine.
So you talk
I
about
don't know
all the
why
different...
Rubén's missing goblin barrels.
Maybe he keeps on thinking that Light's gonna go to the outside.
Yeah, I mean that would be the reason you would do it, or just like a misclick, but I assume it's just because he thinks.
I mean, King Tower's activated, so maybe he's running, playing it safe.
Yeah,
To
it's
a
only
certain
one hit at most, so.
Yeah, it's interesting. Bar Barrel makes this matchup just a little bit more annoying for Rubén than Log does. I play 6 Loon right now, and generally this matchup is favorable for me unless they are playing Log, because then they take care of the Royal Recruit shields and get chip damage on the tower a whole bunch. So it's really weird how just one card, and a card between Bar Barrel versus Log, could create such a matchup difference.
Yeah, and I mean that's the reason why they switch out small cards, is to try to have better matchups against the person they're playing against. Like if they know that they run this deck, or this deck, certain small spells will be more useful. Certainly if your opponent never plays Balloon, you don't need Snowball. Things like that, you know.
Bomb Tower
That and like
has
card
the,
ban.
Yeah, that and the bans too. Bomb Tower is an interesting choice from Light in this one.
Yeah, I mean I think it doesn't really make much of a difference. Sometimes it'll get more value, sometimes it'll get a little bit less. There's that right side Goblin Barrel. Doesn't go for it. Stays up Elixir instead. I wonder if we're gonna see like a double RG push.
Yeah, he might be getting ready to stack up here, though I think this is the direction they're going instead. And this time Rubén goes for the middle, and Light
He's back
goes...
to another RG. Yeah.
Oh boy. Fireball's
Good
going to clear a lot of that
fireball
out, but
value.
here comes the Heal Spirit to win the bridge battle. Going to be a couple of RG shots, Fireball value in as well. Rubén puts it at 56 HP, but does not have a Log here, so does have to get a Fireball back down again. Going to get there pretty easily.
And he'll be there fine, yeah.
And kaboom. Rubén takes it in 4.
Yep, that all-in push. quite good there. I figured that's what was coming out. Yeah, the troops really stacked up. He got Fireball value, but it doesn't matter. You just get the RG on tower, and then the Heal Spirit. It's like, if you don't have something to distract it, like the Bomb Tower and Cycle, it does so much damage before it dies. With that last matchup, too, I wonder if... I feel like when that RG goes out in the back, no matter where the towers are at for Mohamed Light, you almost have to pressure opposite lane just so they're not able to build up such a large push like that. It feels bad to switch lanes when the other tower's full HP, but all the times it's just what you need to do, because if they're not able to support that RG, they don't really have the opportunity to kill your bomb tower and then go a second one.
Yeah, well played for Rubén. You know what? I will show you guys the overall bracket. Here you go, for those of you who are wanting to see it, as I get ourselves all set up and organized. And you can see the results so far. Schwarzen 3-0ing against Mini Minter, Airsurfer with a 3-0 on Boss, and Rubén with the 3-1 against Light. So now we're just waiting on RF and Boeufmac to get their match kicked off here in just a second. And let me go ahead and show you guys what the next bracket will be. So it will be Schwarzen against the winner of RF and Boeufmac, and Airsurfer against Rubén. Oh, here we go. Both players are readied up. The game will be kicking off here in just 1 second. Boeufmac versus RF. Britain versus America. What's better than that, right? What is better than a classic Britain versus America matchup? The U.S. versus those, I don't know, the redcoats, as you'd call them. You know, Colton, I know you're friends with both these guys, but is there any way that you're rooting for Boeufmac in this one?
I know RF a little bit better. I mean, I just want to see a good game. I don't think I'm rooting for anybody.
Look at that. Look at the playing politics over here. I just care about.
I mean, I'm not super close to either of them, but
I just care about it being a friendly matchup. Go on, Brits.
But USA, so RF, let's go.
There we go. That's right. There we go. Needed to make it happen. Let's jump into game number 1. Hopefully I actually got the things on the right. I did get all the overlay correct. Here we go. God RF top of your screen, Boeufmac bottom of your screen. We're in hot, easy, early on time, and it's going to be some version of Skeleton Barrel up against something with a Musketeer and a Snowball and
Balloon.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Is it going to be a deck that we see all the time here?
In both players, yes. It's the mortar deck versus the balloon deck.
Versus Six Loon. Blade, thanks for the tier 1 sub over on Twitch. Really do appreciate that as well.
Oh my God,
because
fortune teller.
I promise that I will use your subscription
value
on burritos. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Back wins.
Uh-oh. Oh, GG. Oh, GG.
The spread on those spear gobs was not favorable.
Dude, someone tell AC to stop poking RF in the ribs while he's trying to play. Jeez. Rude.
I agree.
Rude to distract your friend and teammate while he's trying to win $100 or $70 for the win. To be more clear. Just brutal. Just brutal and rude.
So does RF should have Musk. Why didn't he play it?
I don't know.
Maybe he subbed it for something else, or maybe the cycle was weird, or
it must have been a weird cycle, because I mean, you see what he played. Musketeer must have been buried, absolutely buried.
Yeah.
Microphone checker, Supreme Neck Protector. This is a game over. No way to win here. Unless you're giving away mortar connections.
It'll be a lot of more connections for it to be game. We'll see. Snowball should come out here for Skeleton Barrel.
Man,
the spear gobs are getting chipped though.
That's the starting hand situation. I'm actually going to be doing an invitational like this one, but a fixed starting hand invitation. And just want to get this, just want to see what it's like. Just want to get the data and what happens when you add fixed. You are in a friendly match able to fix starting hands inside of Clash Royale. So I'm going to try some of those out on my channel and see how people feel about it. But that was definitely it felt like a starting hand situation.
I mean, I guess it depends, right? Because like I don't know if I would always necessarily start my hand with Musketeer. So like those situations could still be possible, but yeah, maybe it would minimize it.
Ace.
The only thing I don't like it is you could rig it to where like beatdown players would always have the beatdown player. But I guess that's not as much of a problem if it's only friendly bells and not ladder. Like Lava Hound players would just always start with Lava Hound and go first. Lava Hound first player.
Yeah, but then you also have your counter in hand as well. There you go, Boeufmac winning game number 1. I guess that becomes complicated though.
But against Lava, you don't really go against the bridge because they barbs it. You usually start in the back and defend. I guess against Golem it would be different because then you want to have a pressure hand. But well, unless you're Pekka, then you use Pekka.
Hey Blade, thank you very much. I think I'm a reasonably nice fella. You know, I help out my neighbors. I pay my taxes. I pet dogs and give them treats. You know, all the important things a nice guy does.
We can see AC sabotaging RF.
Oh, we can yeah, AC completely sabotaging RF. 100% rooting for against his teammate in the chat here, which I totally understand. That seems like a very AC move to do. And you can see that Boeufmac was practicing with his coach Sean Kim a minute ago, so if you're trying to do some research on Boeufmac, I just tipped the hat there a little bit.
Yeah, when we saw that matchup earlier today, the mortar player won it. But that was just a really ugly start for RF.
Yeah, it was a rough one. Wait, are they already playing?
Yes.
Oh. Well, that's a thing that happened. Here we go. Let me jump back in.
RF is playing Three Musketeer Royal Hogs. Guessing, but almost 100% sure. Boeufmac playing a Fisherman deck as well.
And I'm not sure what RF banned here. So...
Maybe Three Musk as well. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So it's a mirror.
Well, I don't know if there was a ban, what RF banned. Who knows? And let's see. Going full Fall Guys. Is Fall Guys here to stay, or is Fall Guys just the moment?
I mean, it's up to it's kind of up to the developer, right? Whether they keep on adding cool game modes, or it just is. If they leave it exactly how it is, then yeah, it'll fade because it's kind of basic. But it'll just depend on what the developers are able to do, right?
You hear that, developers? Make sure your game works.
Boeufmac destroying RF by playing Three Musketeers second. That's something you'll see sometimes in the mirror. If you play them second, they make contact on your side and you get a massive counter push while your opponent is left wielding.
Is AC the best? Is Royal the best golem player ever? Asks Ace. Widow asks AC, and AC says yes, best player. Period. Here's AC watching his teammate, his friend, rooting against him. And
while
not
cheering on his former teammate.
Yeah. I thought I'd seen everything.
It's the truth, you know. I hate to say it, but this ain't looking so good for RF.
No, it is feeling a little emotional here, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And I think it's because he feels the disturbance that his teammate is causing in the Twitch chat.
Hey, Night Owl just showed up into the Trovo chat. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Good news for you, there has been no Ram Rider today. So
That's
congratulations.
True, it's not very good. It is average at best. Don't tell him who I am.
What just happened to my... Why did I just freeze? My game... It's still running on my iPad. What is going on here? Stream is still working. Can you guys still hear me? Am I still here? Colton, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Weird. Guys, the game is running. My iPad and my computer just stopped communicating. That is super weird. That's strange. Yeah, that's super weird. Who even won? I don't even know who won. I'm pretty sure that Boeufmac won that.
Yes.
Why is my... Hold on, let me just unplug it and plug it back in. I think that
I think that usually fixes stuff.
Yeah, I think my capture card just straight up crapped out there for a second. Let's see if my capture card will work again. And boom, we're back up and running. We're back up and running.
Woo!
All right, let's see if there's going to be a ban here.
They said no ban in the chat, even though I'm assuming you ban on Geyser, right?
You can ban wherever you can ban wherever and however you want to ban. Here we go. Game number 3 starting up here. Chat is saying reset the BO500. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, oh crap. Now taking sides on his teammate with his teammate now.
He's a big side taker.
Mm-hmm. That fisherman did not work out. Yeah, so. Oh.
And now there's a missing card, too. Guys, who is messing with all of my setup?
It is the Hog Rider.
I've heard of Hog Rider.
Hog Rider, yeah.
Right? He swings a thing.
Yeah, big and bad players really don't like him.
Yeah, bad players really hate Hog Rider.
I'm a bad player and I don't like him.
If you want someone to tell you that Hog Rider is the most OP card in the game, just go to Facebook, and you will find thousands of people who will tell you that Hog Rider is the most OP card in Clash Royale.
And if you think Ram Rider is the most OP card, you're Night Owl, and only Night Owl. Oh, that Heal Spirit like caught the Mega Knight as it jumped into it, and it allowed it to get a hit or two there and tank the tower longer.
721 right-hand lane. RF might be benefiting from my capture card crapping out, and maybe that threw off Boeufmac, and now RF possibly going to get a win here.
I think AC's newfound support also is a big cause.
That is true. Yeah, when your teammate and friend finally actually starts supporting you rather than trying to jinx you consistently. That definitely helps, I've been told, at least. Like, mathematically provable.
Proving that RF's success is only as far as AC support for him goes.
So Heal Spirit really feels like it's the #1 card on the nerf list, right? Like, there's no card that's more meta-defining right now.
And Musketeer, but Heal Spirit first. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. Boeufmac's getting back in it. That E was going to stop a decent amount, though. Mega Knight going through.
Wait, is that Night Owl? Yes, it is actually Night Owl in the Trovo chat, guys. And that is actually AC, and maybe Sam. Sam might still be in the Twitch chat. Not entirely sure. I know OB Sam's popped in for a moment. Threw out a sub, which was.
Oh, the Fisherman's going to go through instead of pulling it. Yeah. Is that Fisherman grabbing the enemy Fisherman? Yeah, I feel like you'd rather grab Mega Knight there. Yep. Ooh, I don't know. That's gonna be no. He defends. Poison Snowball wasn't enough.
Hunter trying to stop it.
Oh, it's not over yet.
193, not quite enough. Who is Night Owl? He's a YouTuber, and a very enjoyable one.
Oh, that cannon cart. That cannon cart, maybe? No, the immediate Hunter saved it. It was going to be quite brutal on the E-Wiz, but now that's game.
Poison will come in, take care of business. RF going to go ahead and get on the scoreboard here and wants a piece of that $100. Who doesn't want a part of $100, you know? I guess even if you have like $1 billion, you're not really concerned about 100, but maybe that's how you get $1 billion, is that you're concerned about 100.
I'll take it.
There we go. Now let's see if we actually get some bans here. Boeufmac is banning Graveyard. So RF decides not to do any bans here, and Boeufmac is just like, the second he gets a chance to ban, he's like, yeah, I'm going to ban Graveyard. I'm not going to let you do that. So GY will be the ban for the Brit.
I think that's fair. And a great matchup size, 13. 13 games.
Yeah, that's a solid sample, I think.
Mega Knight in general is pretty strong against both Roll Hogs and Roll Delivery, though. So Mega Knight coming in clutch there for RF. Also, he had a really good start where he got a lot of damage.
All right. Let me know if you see it in Clan. So I'll be watching in the Geyser app. And by the way, guys, if you haven't yet, go ahead and grab the Geyser app to play in this and tournaments like it. You can play head-to-head matchups with 9 different game modes. You can play in a variety of fun tournaments. There are tournaments happening every day. And not just tournaments, and it's not just like the tournaments that you can find in the game, but tournaments where you can actually win prizing that can be distributed in a variety of ways. You can get gift cards for, I believe it's iTunes, Google Play, I think maybe Best Buy, GameStop. I know there's a Visa Cash card. Ooh, is it P.E.K.K.A? Is it P.E.K.K.A?
It looks, I mean, it could be a different version still, but that was an interesting Fisherman. Like, just the way it pulled. It is P.E.K.K.A probably. Could be some, what if he plays Ram Rider? That'd be funny. Ooh, Boeufmac sees the, oh, it is P.E.K.K.A, nice. He sees the ghost and immediately goes to Royal Hogs. P.E.K.K.A doesn't do a terrible job. Doesn't do a great one either.
But now he has a pretty healthy Mama P.E.K.K.A going the opposite direction.
Healthy counter push. Basically up like 3-4 elixir. Ram? I like the battle ram there. Doesn't give Royal recruits value. He knows what deck his opponent is playing there. Oh, I like that zap. Maybe it'll allow the P.E.K.K.A to get a hit. Oh, that was so close. If that poison zap had killed the hunter, that's a P.E.K.K.A hit.
Forces out the log, though, and does give RF a 1 elixir advantage going into the next phase of the game. 90 seconds passed. Pretty well tied up, and RF up by 1 elixir.
Almost exactly the same on both towers, for both players. I do think in double elixir, though, this will favor the Royal Hog player quite a lot. We'll see, though.
Prado asking why there are 2 matchup bars. Because in a situation where the matchup bars give you a variety of data, right? So if you look at the rest of the matchup bar, and we'll see on the next. Oh, hey, someone else has joined. Bobby, thanks for joining on Geyser. Bobby, thanks for joining. Oh, that's going to be a big push on the left-hand side. Magic Archer trying to help out, but oh boy, they are hungry.
Low roll recruits, let the thing blow up. No? Now? Yeah. It was actually better. He was able to get logged. I wasn't sure if he logged if he would be able to get it out in time.
Those were good recruits, and Magic Archer just refuses to hit the tower. That Magic Archer had no interest in getting tower damage, and that cannon cart's going to run rampant on the right-hand side.
Go here. That's a nice Magic Archer by Boeufmac.
225 left-hand side. No big spell for the Brit, so that is
no,
a little more challenging here.
We're just going to see a log here on the right side, probably. I don't know why he split his roll recruits the way he did, though. I feel like it should have been more right side. He'll be fine, though.
Magic Archer gets some nice geometry, and that's going to be a GG well played. Boeufmac takes it 3-1.
You play P.E.K.K.A, that's not the matchup you're looking for.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. P.E.K.K.A into Royal Recruits? You don't love that?
Nope, not really. It's worse when it's balloon. Then you have bad air defense, and they have an easy P.E.K.K.A counter. I mean, not the Royal Hogs are much better. They're also hard to stop.
And you can see the matchup data there. So let's talk about what this matchup data on the screen actually means. 8 of 8, meaning that's the exact matchup that you see on screen, and a sample size of 144. You can see the second matchup there is a 7 of 8 matchup, meaning 1 card in one of the 2 decks at least is off. But it has a bigger sample size, so it's giving you more data in order to make your evaluation of that matchup.
Yeah, it means no matter what, it's a terrible matchup for P.E.K.K.A.
Yes, there we go. That is what it means.
And as a P.E.K.K.A player, I concur that is a terrible matchup.
So we're going to go ahead and jump into our next matchup, and it's going to be Airsurfer versus Rubén. We're going to give Boeufmac a little time to regroup and get ready for his next one. They haven't started yet, have they? Because I don't see them. Oh, here we go. Boom.
Yes, they have.
All right, here we go. Game number 1 of our semifinals starting up, and yes, those are not their country flags. I will get those fixed in mere moments. Those are the correct teams, though, guys. Check that out.
Slander.
Yeah, I know. Rubén is a...
Now if Rubén wins, I can say the American won.
Not anymore.
Shame.
Yeah, I know.
So, Airsurfer playing a lot of the cards that we see in every single deck that's popular in this meta. Rubén playing Miner, a little bit less popular. Oh, so it's gonna... Okay, I've seen this variant. Just Miner, Warbreaker Cycle with Musketeer instead.
Dak asking in the Twitch chat, Colton, who's the most slept on in CR in your opinion? This is a pretty big thing to be asking.
I don't know. Going into the season, I thought Mugi would do really amazing, and he's already played games and done amazing. But I guess him.
I think everybody who knew Mugi from outside of CRL thought he would be pretty fire.
Yeah, but I get upset when you read on Twitter. It's like people that just just fans, and they'll be like, who either don't know about him or don't think he's good because they haven't seen, or like they don't see him in events, I guess, because he plays ladder. Yeah, but then how do you define like slept on?
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
I thought he would be, of all the rookies, I thought he would be the best rookie going into CRO.
Yeah, I did leave him off that rookie list. It's almost funny, one of those things where it's like my brain is just, he's been such a name for so long that like my brain just didn't even think of him as a rookie, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's because of age, right? He's really young.
True.
But yeah, he played CRL Asia, and I watched some of his matches. He's 5'2" already.
Well, Rubén, I mean, talking about guys who were too young but who had a pretty big name before coming into CRL.
Well, he's the other one I would have listed when he first came in.
And he's been quietly very good in CRL. You know, it hasn't turned into the overall results maybe the case of it expected, other than, of course, winning the No-Till League Special Edition, which is actually pretty huge.
But that's more of like a team thing, right? Like in terms of individual, the only bad individual performance he's had was like that last CRL. Up until then, he was always finishing like 60% win rate.
Yeah, Queso had a rough outing this CRL, and you know, people will use that CRL spring season. I don't think that CRL spring season told us that anyone is necessarily bad, right?
It's a really short time frame.
Such a short sample size to make any real judgments. It did show us some players who were playing at a very high level. I think there's certain events, right, where let's talk about the No-Tilt World Championship. I don't think the No-Tilt World Championship showed anybody who wasn't at a certain level. It just showed some players who were at a certain level, and of course, the ball bounced their direction as well.
I don't know if I've liked the recent metas either.
So what you're saying is you play Clash Royale?
Yeah, but like they seem very well. Maybe just this one too. They don't seem very. This meta seems lacking diversity quite a lot. That's not as much to do with what we were talking about before, but just thinking about it. You see like 3 archetypes mainly.
I think Heal Spirit is a huge part of that, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. And if they change that, I also think Musketeer is part of it. Like right now, I think more than anything else, you see RG, you see Loon, and you see Raw Hogs, and like all of them use Heal Spirit.
So there we go. Game number 1, going to the Spaniard Rubén, up on Airsurfer, and we should get these stats in here in just 1 second. There we go, and we'll figure out what the ban is in just a second here. API shows noob versus noob matchups. I don't even know what that means in this situation. I guess we're just jumping right in. I don't know if did one of them ban anything in chat there?
Sparky from Airsurfer.
Airsurfer with a Sparky ban. All right, so I'll go ahead and get that one in.
I don't think that's necessarily true with the Royal API things. I think they're mostly accurate. And if you're like looking up the matchup details for yourself, you can specifically sort by like top ladder, and so it's pretty reliable.
I use it. Whether or not that means much of anything. I mean that makes it definitely noob data if I'm the one using it.
Well, if you is that giant skeleton connecting? No.
No, just outside of range. Wall breakers.
That's a really good fireball on defense there for Rubén. No, and you can filter by only top ladder, so it can definitely be reliable. And it usually is reliable from what I've seen. Ooh, that miner was lag. Let's say lag. Ooh, that was really unfortunate. Basically 3 wasted elixir.
Yeah, and you can see Airsurfer is acknowledging that one as well. We'll see if they choose to do anything about that.
He just decides to tank it and take the elixir lead. And he already got damaged, so Airsurfer in a really good spot right here.
We don't have anything that we don't have any stuff set up for lag issues officially. It's going to be up to the players if they decide that a game was decided by lag and there should be a rematch. That'll be up to the winning player. So if Airsurfer wins this and Rubén says there was a lag and Airsurfer agrees and says he wants to replay it, that's his choice. Yeah. One way or the other.
It could have been he was lacking elixir too. I didn't really see, but it was kind of close. Like he was just getting to 3, but it was so late that like I think it was probably lag, but who knows.
So here's a question. Is there any future for wall breakers outside of Miner? Or is it basically just Miner is the only way to make wall breakers at all viable?
I mean, what do you mean? If Miner was nerfed even further, or just if you were trying to make a wall breakers deck that didn't have Miner?
I mean, a little bit of both, right? I mean, so you look at Skeleton Barrel. Skeleton Barrel has essentially 3 builds that it has. Miner Skeleton Barrel, Double Bait, and now Mortar Skeleton Barrel. Right? I mean, actually 4 if you add in the Giant Skeleton Clone variation. right? And then, I mean, I guess Skeleton Barrel ends up being much more versatile overall. Wall Breakers really doesn't exist outside of Miner. Now, I don't know if this is the final place Miner will end. Some people have talked about increasing Miner's damage but reducing HP, so it's less of a tank and more of a win condition.
I mean, but it's like viable right now, so why does it need to be tweaked? I mean, if you wanted it to be back to... I mean, isn't that usually just people who really like Miner control, so they want that version of the deck back?
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah, so... I mean, I'm not disagreeing that, like... I don't know. It's kind of weird because it's still viable now, so I don't know if it needs to be changed. But, I mean, it depends. Like, do you like seeing it more as a tank or more as a... I mean, either way, I think, like, Loon, even if it did tank less, you're just going to get more chip and care less about Loon connections.
Sure.
So, I mean, in a lot of the ways, it would just keep on being used. I don't know. It's in a decent spot right now. It's still a very good card. But as far as wall breakers, I think you only Miner. Because, like, so you don't see it with Goblin Barrel because then you just give log value or bar barrel value on both. It doesn't really... So Skeleton Barrel is more of the tank for... Skeleton Barrel is the tank for Goblin Barrel, while Wall Breakers are being tanked for by the Miner.
Yeah.
And Skeleton Barrel, you don't really care about the damage it does on tower. It's more of like a pressure card, and then like you have a secondary win condition that does chip, or you hope your opponent screws up. I mean, it's always nice if they do. While Wall Breakers oftentimes is actually like you want it to connect, and it's one of your main sources of damage.
It's interesting.
I mean, Miner just fits with it better than anything else, and it's not like a solo win condition. You can't just only have Wall Breakers, really.
I remember I've talked about this a couple times on streams, but going back to when Tommy first ran Wall Breakers in CRL, he and Elke described the Wall Breakers primarily as a pressure card as opposed to the damage card. Back when they were still 3 elixir before the big change, and of course now they've become a very different
but
look.
didn't he mostly lose with it back then? They were pretty bad back then before they got buffed.
He played it one time, lost it one time. Wall Breakers might connect here. Gonna be Rubén taking game number 2. So no lag replay here. Rubén gonna go up 2-1 or 2-0.
Well, I'll say that they certainly are a pressure card, but they're a pressure card that like is almost always like is able to do damage at some point. And it's another big thing about them is they're just really cheap. So the problem with any other tank is Skeleton Barrel has like a death phase, right? So if it gets hit, and if 2 things get hit, or like let's say Balloon, like Lumberjack Loon doesn't give spell value, but if you add any other tank along with Skeleton Barrel that is right next to it, it just gives spell value. And that's not the case with Miner because you can throw it on tower and they're nowhere near each other.
Who's in the call? Asks T Napes. That would be Colton joining on the call and giving the insight that only someone who's been playing professional Clash Royale for a long time can bring. I guess here's the big question. I guess you're talking about how with your first big event, you weren't already really that hardcore of a competitive player. I mean, when did you sort of make the decision to switch, to change over from this is a casual experience to you to really pursuing a competitive career?
Well, that first tournament I went to, I won $10,000 and had like 5,000 YouTube subs before I ever posted a video. So right then, I mean, I kept on going to college for a while. Like I didn't really make the decision to do it full time for like a year, but in terms of like pursuing it and putting a lot of attention into it immediately after that tournament, the Clash Royale fan base was bigger then too. So like the numbers were really big at first.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into our third game, potentially final. Rubén with match point here against Airsurfer. Sam in the Trovo chat saying, I think the future wall breakers can be like Earthquake, for example, in Giant. Send a Giant and send wall breakers to destroy like a Tesla or something, like an Earthquake. Interesting. I
mean, they would have to change how they work, because right now, I thought that when they first came out, but it didn't really work that way. And they just and if you put them in a stacked push like that, it's just spell value. Because, like, you're not just going to have wall breakers with a Giant. You're going to put because that's only damage troops, and you're going to get shredded by their troops. You'd have to have, like, another troop, too, and then at that point, it's just spell value.
Sauce Gang throwing out some cool emotes over on the Twitch chat. And someone saying Dark Prince is way better than Ghost, in my opinion, says Helixable. And Do the Man says Monopoly no, immediately.
I mean, maybe in this meta. But they're different, right? Dark Prince is more defensive card. I mean, in this the deck Airsurfer's running, you would never run Ghost in this deck, but Dark Prince in like Peck as a choice. It just depends, because Dark Prince is like a defensive card that offers a little bit of pressure, while Ghost is like a pressure card that adds a little bit of defense. So
it's an interesting distinction. Another way to kind of categorize those two. I feel like Dark Prince was uber popular when Lightning was really popular.
Yeah, it's good in beatdown, and they also nerfed it some.
Loon into the left-hand side, so giant skeleton loon. You don't see a ton of that these days.
Yeah, we saw it last game from Airsurfer, but other than that, yeah, it's the older variant. I mean, it works pretty well with Fisherman, but you see the Royal Recruit version more. I mean, it's basically the same deck. They just swapped Royal Recruit in or out for a Giant Skelly. Kind of a similar job. Functions differently. Just depends on what matchups you're expecting, stuff like that. Defensive Poison, pretty good one there. And that Gob Cage, cool. Real nice there. Baby Drag Splash. I don't even know if he needed Snowball there. Maybe, yeah, because Heal Spirit's stupid.
Because Heal Spirit's stupid might be the best way to describe that. Now, you know, I've been telling you, as you're talking about, I'm a 6 loon player right now, and when I'm playing against Graveyard, my strategy in this matchup is pressure, 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 and not give them any chance to really get damage, especially during single and double. Is that the same name of the game?
Yeah, I mean, that looks like Ruben's what he's been doing, really. He keeps on pressure. As you can see, Airsurfer's never been able to Graveyard, so I'd say you're right, for sure. Now, I find that interesting. That seems... I mean, you have a counter push, but it seems like that's going really well for Rubén. His counter push is kind of going to be massive. As you can see, they're about the same elixir, but you see the troops that Rubén has on the field. I think this could be, yeah, and Rubén knows it. He's going in. Poison doesn't finish off the dragons. This may be game. Well, not game, but like, I think it's a connection probably. Oh, wow.
No connection in. Hunter does coming through, and Fish Slapper.
Yeah, it's more damage though.
Ooh, boy. Huge,
yeah.
huge on the
Hunter
right-hand
was
side.
like spraying on tower the entire time too. That was a beautiful giant skeleton. It tanked the Musketeer on the other side, and if he had decided to go Graveyard with that, his tank would have died really quickly. And Baby Drag wouldn't have been able to tank. Ooh, the giant skeleton stays alive. That's it. Oh, it's not tanking tower though. So a little bit of a misplay there. I think Rubén wins on that push if giant skeleton's tanking tower, but I don't think it'll matter enough.
Yeah, I mean, the giant skeleton in this situation able to just win the bridge battle and clean all that up over and over again.
Yeah, it seems like it's been paying. The giant skeleton part of the deck's been paying off really well. It's just he's attacking constantly, and the counter push isn't surviving. I mean, Royal Recruit serves in like a similar function all the time, but definitely the giant skeleton's been doing its job here. Ooh, Airsurfer though expects him to block at the bridge and is patient there, not graveyarding right away. I don't think it'll matter though. There's also a lot of pressure. There's pressure on the left side. Yeah, not enough. Graveyard isn't the deck that takes a tower in one push most times. You need to be able to chip throughout the game.
GG, well played. Rubén, pretty fire today. 3-0 again, moving on to our final here over Airsurfer. Go ahead and bring up the stats from that one. And you can see, talking about that matchup data, so the best we have is a 7 of 8 matchup. Royale API has 0 data of this precise matchup going back and forth.
Yeah, not very much. I mean, you have like Snowball and a decently fast cycle for Airsurfer. So I feel like the matchup's winnable, but Rubén really put in good pressure. If anything, so like when this deck used to be ran, Skeleton Dragons didn't exist. Skeleton Dragons were like really crucial, I feel, in Graveyard defense. As opposed to if you only had Hunter to rely on, it's not quite as reliable, I feel. I don't know. He hit a lot of pressure from the Skeleton Drags too.
It looks like we're going to be jumping right into our next matchup here in just a moment. The other side of our bracket, Schwarzen versus Boeufmac. So let me, in a mad dash, try to get this overlay. I need to find a better series of hotkeys to get this overlay all sorted out. Here we go. Jumping into the matchup. And I will be just catching up with the overlay. It is Boeufmac versus Schwarzen.
Ooh, so Boeufmac most likely playing Hogs. We see Earthquake come out. Schwarzen, Spirit Gob's Goblin Cage isn't something you see every day. Oh, okay. So it's like some form of bait, but with Goblin Cage is kind of unusual. Maybe he's going for the theme approach where you have all the goblins in your deck and then you also pick up the Goblin Cage. It's a lot of damage for a Hog, though. No caging cycle.
We've been seeing, I think, yeah, Rascal's Bait. This has been, we saw this a couple of times recently.
So it's like the Prince deck, but they took out Prince and put in Cage. Basically.
All right,
I mean, I think it's literally all the same cards besides that. Musketeer chip going out. This seems like fairly decent for Hog, though. I mean, you have double small spells and Earthquake. The pre-placement of the Goblin Cage really hurt Schwarzen off the start. We see a cage plate in front. You don't need to do anything there. You may even get a hit just from almost. The Rascal Girl came in clutch. This should be real nice for Hog, though. Those double small spells are going to be key. Protecting Musketeer here. He has a log for the Goblin Cage. Musketeer will die, but takes care of everything. Skeleton's not necessary, but it was looking close. Whether Bandit would get a dash off.
Say anything in Italian, ask Fede Para. Grazie. Scusi, grazie. There you go. That's all I got. That's all I got for Italian.
It's going to be 2 hits, maybe 1 hit, because of the log. Almost a second still. No log in cycle, but Musketeer's going to clean everything up. Real good placement, so Dark Gob is in tower range. That Musk will get a shot if he doesn't do anything about it.
So here's a question for you. I mean, EQ is back in the meta because of the overall spell damage to Crown Tower nerf, and now that 2 EQs do more damage than the equal 6 Elixir of Rocket, that's why you see it. Why do we see it only pretty much a Hog triple spell? Is it just because of the value it gives for a Hog to get past buildings like this one?
I mean, it's just the thing that synergizes the most with it. And Hog Earthquake is not that expensive. If you start adding Earthquake into like any other push, though, so Hog doesn't necessarily need support troops. If you're gonna be, and Earthquake doesn't kill troops, right? So really, you need these cheap pushes to be viable for Earthquake. Otherwise, without killing troops with your spell, you're gonna get overrun on the counter push with any other type of deck if you were to use Earthquake in it. So it just doesn't really synergize with any other card the way it does with Hog. And I don't even know that the spell nerf is necessarily why. I mean, it's just the best versions of Hog use it. So if you're gonna see Earthquake, it's gonna be with Hog. But I mean, that certainly doesn't hurt the case either.
Dak in the Twitch chat asking, can we see a pro caster 2v2 episode on YouTube where Colton teaches you 2v2 since he's so good at it?
I mean, I would be down. I haven't done it in so long though, and it's like the only problem is like there's no mode for it, so we're gonna be playing against
games.
Yeah, but if you play like on ladder, you're gonna be playing against not real decks and not very good players. Like I think I've played with myself before and won 20 games in a row.
Well, now the pressure's on.
Well, and not even like, not that I was amazing, just they were just not very good because the matchmaking system doesn't exist, so it puts you against players that aren't any good.
Asia, OP sub in the Trovo chat. How are you? Good to see you. And Boeufmac winning game number 1 against the German. Man, Schwarzen had such a great run through the No Tilt World Championship overall. At the same time, doing a good job in the AMG Cup. And then just kind of felt like he wasn't playing at the same level when it came to the actual finals. A couple weird deck choices, some weird tornado choices. I mean, it
could be nerves, could be the other player was good, could be he tried to do something unpredictable and it didn't pay off. Lots of different factors, I would say.
Let's go ahead and see if we can figure out Schwarzen's ban here.
Earthquake slows troops, but it doesn't slow their attack speed anymore, Gasman.
Yeah, that's a big difference, right? Not when the attack speed is, of course,
I mean,
massive.
It was OP more. Yeah, it was more OP before when it slowed down attack speed, because, I mean, it was still used in Hog, but then, like, the Musketeer wouldn't shoot, and it would, like, get a shot or something. But it's still good. It's just not as OP. It was real OP when they buffed it.
Oh, yeah, huge mod party there on Trovo.
Dip poison.
Did Schwarzen throw a ban into the clan chat? Because I didn't see one in the geyser chat.
I can double check. This is graveyard, giant graveyard. No ban.
No ban of Schwarzen.
In the chat, at least.
Yeah, so I haven't seen one. Oh, Abel saying he said ban Fisherman. Okay. So we do have a ban in for Schwarzen.
Makes sense with the deck choices. This is looking real good for Boeufmac, though, because he has both a defense and poison for the giant deck. It's looking like it'll be a graveyard. Like they both have graveyard. This counter push is going to be massive for Boeuf, I think. Well, maybe not. He doesn't have Elixir for graveyard just yet. He may still go with it, though. Probably not. Yep, I like that NATO. That was a beautiful NATO, actually. Graveyard would have came out too late. I love that NATO.
Fede Pera, I'm realizing now I said something in Italian, and I got nothing from you after I said that. I just want to point that out that I answered your request, and I got nothing. Emotional, brutal.
Seeing a graveyard, a giant graveyard deck that was more popular a couple minutes ago, but
we've been seeing giant graveyard arrows a bit this month though. It's been showing up in competitive on occasion. I
can see how you would want to play that one graveyard or with the Fisherman Band as well.
Why this one with the Fisherman Band?
No King Tower activation.
For the giant, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, King Tower activation is real good against graveyard, and it's usually not possible against graveyard with Fisherman, but it is against giant graveyard. Not saying that it's easy though. Like if the graveyard player knows they have Fisherman and is smart, they'll like graveyard so that like the giant's never close enough before like graveyard is distracting. But it also makes them kind of commit heavily every time they play a giant. And just like even if you're not using the Fisherman to kill, you can like pull stuff the tank away and then take out the support troops, stuff like that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. This like I was saying, this is a very good matchup because you have a defense for the giant, you have these splash troops to deal with like the Night Witch, and you have poison for graveyard. So very good matchup for the graveyard here.
Yeah, as you can see, pretty locked down here for Boeufmac.
Yeah.
So it's gonna hold on.
Tower.
Yeah,
I don't know, honestly. Oh, he's just gonna cycle back to poison. That's lame. I wanted to see him NATO. I don't think he would have killed though. It's not very much.
I don't know what.
He could have just he should have just poisoned tower earlier, but he was being safe. He didn't need to.
Dak asking if I'm gonna buy the Airbnb IPO when it drops. I don't know. I don't know. I think a lot of cities are gonna start passing regulations. They already have started doing it against Airbnb, rightly so to a certain degree. So I don't know. We'll see. Doesn't seem like the choice yet, but.
What are you talking about?
Oh, someone asking if I'm going to buy Airbnb stock when their initial public offering
comes in. Stock. Gotcha.
So yeah, the IPO, initial public offering. There you go. Going to be Boeufmac going to be up 2. And here we go, jumping into game number 3. Now we're cooking with gas, folks. Gonna edit off some of that early chunk of this when we send this up to YouTube. Still learning, getting all the flow together. I'd buy Airbnb says, come at me, bro. I don't know. Hold on. Airbnb, yeah, there's a lot of cities that are passing regulations limiting Airbnb because Airbnb is severely driving up rent prices, like artificially inflating them. And they're, yeah, it's like, for example, I'm renting a house in Austin for a few months while having some work done on my house. And so many Airbnbs are offering house rentals, and Colton, this is going to blow your mind, where they're renting like a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Austin for like $5,000 to $6,000 a month. Where, you know, that's like a $2,000 to $3,000. That's like depending on how nice it is and what the area is, it's like a $2,000 to $3,000 rental. So
Boeufmac's playing like a traditional Ramrod deck, just with Heal Spirit. Schwarzen playing Graveyard.
And thank you, Colton, for being here and keeping everything professional and on task. As I'm like,
problem.
Airbnb, I don't know. How do you feel about it?
So we'll see Schwarzen needing to defend with like Musketeer against these types of pushes. Ooh, Skeleton Drag comes out. Ram Rider could be a problem though, especially if it's not stop. Okay, it's gonna get damaged though. Heal Spirit, OP.
Yeah, big heal
kind of
spirit.
decent with Inferno Drag too. That's a lot of pressure. I was gonna say it's gonna be hard for Schwarzen in general to stop Ram Rider because he doesn't have like he doesn't have a reset, no log, no snowball. Besides Goblin Cage, and Goblin Cage once it does pop can get Ram Rider slowed, and then it can't actually hit the Ram Rider. So this is Ram Rider is a pretty good win condition to have versus the defenses of Schwarzen here.
Yeah, now Magic Archer going to clear the way. Plenty of elixir here for Boeufmac to load up, and decides to Ram Rider in the back.
Yeah, he just didn't want to put it into the Goblin, and he's able to build up a push if he runs it in the back. And Schwarzen, once again, if that Goblin Cage does get out of cycle, he's not able to stop it. Even if it's in cycle, it can't be threatening still. So.
Ram Rider does not connect this time. 1382 on the right-hand side. Final 15 seconds of regulation. Boeufmac with match point. A path to the finals right in front of him, and a huge damage lead.
Yep. The Ram Rider is just giving Schwarzen big fits. The all-in pushes don't result in huge counter pushes for him, and he always takes quite a decent bit of damage, it seems like. So just Ram Rider will come out from Boeufmac here, I would imagine. Oh, he decides to lay off. That's not bad, especially since Schwarzen kind of played those Skeleton Drags early on. That was good patience, for sure. We'll take that poison any day. I guess you don't really want to play into like a pre-planted Goblin Cage either. You want to wait until either he has to play defensively or it's out of cycle.
I mean, the value, and you can see the value that a Heal Spirit gives there, because for 1 elixir, you get that Bandit essentially almost a second life, so it's almost like a 3 elixir value.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just so hard to, like, when you're countering a good card, and it keeps Inferno Drag alive there, and now Inferno Drag is going to get more value. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to block it from getting the heal off, too. Because you have to play cards on top of what they're playing, you know?
Graveyard in, Magic Archer playing defense in the back. Starting to put on some damage right now is the German Schwarzen. Big push loading up the opposite direction. Gonna save that cage for the Ram Rider. Cage high, Rage in, Fireball trying to make room. Ram Rider does connect, and that's a huge one.
Yeah, it's just Boeufmac had a really good match to have the Ram Rider in. Schwarzen just, I mean, if Schwarzen just had like a log or a snowball, then you're not worried about it. But with no extra stop there, it becomes very difficult.
And there you go, game number 3, Boeufmac. And this sample, this is what we're talking about with the matchup data, right? The matchup data has this one for Schwarzen, but look at that sample size. Only 19 matches totally played.
Yeah. I think that's probably good for Boeufmac there, for sure. But I don't know. Maybe Schwarzen could have made it. The Ram Riders just seemed real difficult to deal with. I think there are definitely situations where Schwarzen could have got more damage off because, like, no poison for Boeufmac. All of his graveyard counters, like, he's gonna have to play like a defensive Magic Archer and then attack troops, which isn't always that good. So, like, I think maybe he tries to attack other lanes sometimes and gets damage that way. Like, if he gets a good Knight, a graveyard push off, there could definitely be damage coming through. But Schwarzen just, it seemed like he was under pressure the entire game and he just never got that graveyard off, really, or like a good graveyard push anyway.
So there we go. That's going to be down. Both of our semifinals finished. The final is going to be Rubén versus Boeufmac. And there we go, Rubén versus Boeufmac. And I'll go ahead and show you guys the bracket here as I'm getting everything, all the scoreboard. Boeufmac beating RF. Rubén beating Light in the first round. Semifinals, 3-0 for Boeufmac over Schwarzen. 3-0 for Rubén over Airsurfer. And here we are in our final matchup. Both players ready to rock, and here we go. Game number 1. Let's see if I got the sides right. I did. Oh, I did. Look at that overlay work here.
We'll be seeing Rubén playing the bait deck with Bomb Tower. Bomb Tower coming out looking real good here, seeing as Boeufmac has Royal Hogs, and it'll be 3 Musk as well for Boeufmac. Really good pressure, though. This is going to be hard for Rubén to defend. Not sure he can. Power. There's a little bit of retaliation for the Skeleton Barrel for Rubén, but just kind of a scuffed defense. Good pressure from Boeufmac there.
Guys, if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can watch the replay of this, of No Tilt events, the AMG Cup, and of course the Breng Chong Cup replays will all be up on YouTube if you don't catch them live starting this weekend. Starting on Friday with the Brian Chong Cup.
I was well played by Boeufmac. No bar barrel on cycle, but he's able to defend without taking any damage by using Hunter, catching the deep barrel, being aware of that. Really good through Musketeer timing from Boeufmac. He's going to be able to defend. Oh yeah, Fireball.
Oh yeah, Fireball.
Did we see it without Fireball before? I feel like we saw a different version before. Can't look back in the replays though, see.
Yes, they're not planned, that's right.
That's like the only downside. But Fireball going to be real clutch for Boeufmac. So this would have been a very good match for Rubén if he hadn't gotten down in damage. Like, I feel like this is his matchup if he's able to not... Because you have Bomb Tower and Fireball. It's like, what else could you want? And you can outcycle Bar Barrels. So, but we'll see if Boeufmac's able to hold on. I feel like it just goes to a 2-2 game. You're in a pretty good situation as Rubén. But it'll really just depend. He doesn't have much time left, so I could see Boeufmac... I mean, Boeufmac's definitely going to all-out defend and just try to end this 1-0. So we'll see if Rubén's... Ooh, weird skeleton barrel. Don't like. I guess it held up the Hunter. I don't really feel like that's all that worth it, though.
I guess if he was trying to switch lanes here instead, but a little pressure from the Knight on the opposite side.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard at this point because Boeufmac's doing a really good job of just keeping up a little bit of pressure, but defending and not allowing damage. And, I mean, Rubén's playing a chip deck, so you never want to be in the situation to where you have to make a big comeback. We're going to see Boeufmac pull it out that early damage.
Panos, did I misspeak? What's going on? Panos saying it's not Boeufmac. What's happening over on the right-hand side? People are there's something confusing happening over in the Trovo chat. So here we go. Game number 1 does go to the Brit. Boeufmac up 1. And we'll see what the ban's going to be for Rubén coming in here.
You can see on the matchup data. On the 8 of 8, that's interesting. On the 7 of 8, it changes, but I feel like that's probably in his favor, if not. It's just that early on, it was just rough. He was able to, Boeufmac was able to break through. Rubén should be in a decent spot there with Bomb Tower, Fireball Log.
Oh, you're upset about Boeufmac versus Boeufmac? Yeah, I usually say Boeufmac. Colton's a Texan.
Boeufmac, right?
Colton's a Texan, so he says Boeufmac. I don't really have an argument either way. I think Boeuf, if you want to go with like the French style of it, Boeufmac. We Texans say Boeufmac. We Texans say Boeufmac, says Sam in the Trovo chat.
I don't know. That's just what I thought. I heard other people say it.
Rubén is an oof. Sakudo, can I wish you a happy birthday? You're darn right I can. And I will. Happy birthday. In fact, you know what? I'll even come out on camera for that one. Sakudo, happy birthday. How about that, huh? Looked you right in the eyes and said it. That's right. That's what I give you. A right in the eyes happy birthday. And here we go. Game number 2. Let's get to it. All right.
What is Boeufmac even? I don't remember if I've ever heard him talk about his username. What is that like from?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. I feel like it's been asked. Does anyone in the chat know why Boeufmac is Charlie's name? Anybody have an answer on that one?
I mean, is that like a French thing? Is that what you're saying? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like it. Boeuf is beef. Yeah, beef. I mean, so Boeufmac, right? Like, is that like what they call the? Is that like a Burger King or something? Like a Royale with cheese?
People just call them in general. They say Big Mac, but
I don't know what do they call it?
I don't know.
Le Big Mac in French? I don't know.
I do not know. I feel like Boeuf is just how I heard other players say it. It wasn't even necessarily like how I pronounce it.
Thank you, Gasman. Glad you're enjoying the hosting here. We're trying to have fun and do some Clash Royale. And of course, I'll be back for like 10 days straight with the AMG Cup, including a qualifier tomorrow on stream. If you want to play in the AMG Cup, there's an open qualifier on my channel tomorrow at 1700 hours Eastern time, which is 1400 my, which is 2 p.m. in the afternoon. My time, there you go. What's the brand name of the LPs? Gooder, Goodr is the brand name of the LP sunglasses. I'm a big fan of Gooders. I'd love them to be a sponsor, but I'll give them free shout-outs even now. Maybe they don't want to sponsor because I'm giving them free press. But a big fan of Gooder sunglasses. What part of Texas are you from? Asked Shadow Mystic. Says it's your his favorite.
Like north middle-ish. Yeah, I'm like an hour north of Dallas. I'm near the Oklahoma border.
Is North Texas State like, what is the mascot there? I know their colors are green.
What? Oh, I have no idea. What is? Oh, do you mean UNT?
Mine.
Are you talking about a college?
Yeah, University of North Texas, that's right.
Yeah, it's green. The mean
Eagles?
green. What are they?
I don't remember.
Maybe. That is the closest like big college next to me. If I get a bachelor's degree, that's where I'll get it from.
Strong move. Asia, I'll be doing some casual streams. Just the esports stream schedule is really, really busy right now. The Bobcat says Matt.
That doesn't sound right.
That doesn't sound right either.
It's the mean green. It's like it's a bird, I think.
I thought it was some sort of eagle, maybe a hawk, maybe a peregrine falcon. Rubén running the height. What? Why is this the matchup? Ice Rocket. I just realized we're watching Boeufmac and Rubén play Ice Rocket against Goblin Giant Sparky Roach.
I mean, I was gonna say it's a real nice game to have Rocket in.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
I think Icepo, if it doesn't misplay here, just wins through like log chip. Because like, how do you ever get damage as the Sparky player?
Hope, prayer.
Yeah, and like any amount. I mean, typically you think like Goblin Giant, good against Expo, and maybe that would be the case if it was 2.6. I mean, not even kind of. You can kind of cycle. It'd be a little bit harder than this, but with Rocket for the Sparky, and like you can just rocket a Goblin Giant and a Sparky and just basically kill it. You can just log him out. He doesn't even necessarily need the chip, and like Sparky wants to build the big push, but you can't Sparky behind the tower. You'll be giving him rocket damage, so it just really hurts him. And he has no big spells, so like defensive expos in this case, once you get a damage lead, they're just going to be really hard to deal with. So we're going to see a high knight, then a NATO up and high, and then like a log, and then like the push is probably dead.
Hold on. I just want to break down for everyone how literally all four things that happened there, Colton called, and then they happened like as he finished the word. So
that's true. But then it broke through. So yeah. Rage, OP.
Rage is crazy.
I don't know. I will say, if anything, the takeaway from that there was a beautiful rocket bait from Boeufmac. So earlier he Sparkied at the bridge and then just did nothing.
Wow.
So I really think that's what lost Rubén the game, right? So like if a Sparky crosses the bridge by itself, all you have to do is like skeletons log it. But if or like a knight, doesn't matter. Either you're countering it for an elixir lead. But he Sparkied or he rocketed a Sparky at the bridge, and then Boeufmac was able to set up a big push when he doesn't have rocket in the cycle, and was able to get off a full push and have a Sparky and everything. So definitely, like, if you're gonna rocket it, wait for it to cross the bridge, or wait and rocket it until a Goblin Giant's with it and you get more value. So not having the rocket in hand for the real big built-up push because Boeufmac baited it was like the key there.
There you go, guys. We've reached game number 3. Boeufmac with a huge advantage here today. Now has a chance to go for another clean sweep and win the lion's share, 70% of the $100 prize. And if you want a chance to win your own prizes, boom, go download Geyser yourself. Here we go, game number 3. Again, thanks to Geyser for sponsoring a portion of today's prize pool.
Yeah.
Bowler. So is this Bowler GY or Bowler Bow?
Bowler, yeah. Wait, no, that's not what I was gonna say. It's either Bowler Graveyard or Bowler Loon.
You're saying Bowler Graveyard or Bowler Loon?
Yeah, I don't think Bow was ever.
There's been a Bowler Expo Graveyard deck that's been popping up a bit lately.
Oh really?
I thought you were
talking about your deck.
My old Bowler Bow Miner? No, that's
yeah.
You know, I even tried to like rerun it again with the Bowler buff, and it was Trizash. Absolute trash. But no, there's a Bowler Expo deck that is this deck.
Okay.
It's gonna be GY.
Good.
But those first 3 pieces, people have been playing.
I believe that. I thought you were joking and talking about your old deck.
My old trash. Oh, it's Bowler GY Freeze. Boeufmac,
Skelly.
Boeufmac going pure filth back-to-back games. Is if we go to a game 4, he has to run Elixir Golem Battle Healer at this point. After,
oh, yeah, totally.
After going Goblin Giant Sparky Rage and then now Bowler GY Freeze.
Rubén wants another one with that Expo there. Well, I don't even know that, like... Yeah, I mean, Sparky with the pressure was able to get through, but it just seemed like Rubén was in such a good position to just defend for the rest of the game, but I really think that rocket was what made the difference. It was a good bait by Boeufmac, though.
Yeah, phenomenal bait by Boeufmac. Boeufmac?
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah, and honestly,
I pronounced it how I thought I remembered other pros pronouncing it, and I met him in person, so.
Yeah, Boeufmac works fine by me. Boeufmac works fine by me. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other.
They don't really sound that different. It's not like a massive pronunciation difference.
It's interesting the ones people get on me for. Like, every once in a while, someone says, "Here go the announcers." My favorite was when someone gave Andrew and I grief for using, quote, saying Javi's last name every time we said his name. Because I didn't realize that 14 is Spanish for 14.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, like you thought it was his last name?
Well, no, we didn't. We knew it. But we started calling Javi 14 because that's what the Spanish casters call him. And the first time we sat down, we're talking CR with... Yeah, because it's 14. And
so, like, other players thought you were...
Like fans. Like people comment.
Fans, I mean.
Yeah, people commenting on YouTube were like, "Oh man, they always have to say his first and last name."
Okay.
And I was laughing so hard.
Gotcha. I understand that.
So Icepo twice in a row from Rubén. Or Ice Rocket.
Ooh, this is looking like a connection, maybe.
That's going to unfreeze. Boom, and it does. 543 on the left-hand side, but Rubén now starting to get a bit of an advantage. 2 Ice Wizards down, going to protect them with the Knight.
Boeufmac at this point may have enough damage. Let's see. This is still a little bit annoying for him. Having that extra ground tank is really helping him because they don't always have like a Valk when they run this type of deck.
Yeah.
Which usually Expo actually has a really good matchup. Maybe less of a good matchup when it's Icepo than when it's 2.6. But this is looking dangerous. It's really hard to defend Expos with these kind of bowler native, or I guess bowler buff helps a lot. This is tanky.
Yeah, bowler is super tanky. There's a connection one more time though.
Kill stuff.
And he's forcing Boeufmac to spend so much on defense, so not able to get on offense at all with these graveyards. Graveyard in, but no tank. Freeze comes in. Oh boy, Log not going to do it. Boeufmac with the 1-2-3.
I wonder if he could have like rocket cycled there instead of trying to Expo, like, or not at that moment, but like start setting up like high Teslas and stuff, and then just rocket the last 2 times.
So there you have
it. He took a lot of early damage there.
Yeah, a lot of early damage, and yeah, you can see the matchup data here. A pretty good data pool for this one.
Yeah,
pretty
so having it be Icepo instead of 2.6, and then having like old variations of this deck didn't have Valk in it, so having that extra ground tank is really what helps Graveyard here.
Pretty huge, and I'll go ahead and give you guys an overlook, because people have been talking about, like, is Boeufmac the same level of head-to-head player, playing too much 2v2, didn't look great, and to be fair, he had a really bad run in the No-Tilt League Special Edition, but let's pop back out to the screen for a second so I can show you the run that Boeufmac went on today. So Boeufmac today, 3-1 against RF, then 3-0 against Schwarzen, and then 3-0 against Rubén. So if you want to talk about Boeufmac's level right now, that's 9-1 today against ace-tier competition, against 3 top level guys. So this isn't a slight on any of those, because those guys are all killers. This is a buff on Boeufmac, who was phenomenal today. Looking really good. Get ready for the West.
Very impressive.
Very, very cool, guys. That's a lot of fun. And I'm going to go ahead, and this is what's cool. I'm going to show you guys this right now. This is how cool it is. No waiting for them. Boom. I just go ahead and hit the payout. First place, Boeufmac wins 70% of the boost. That's 1,200 boost or 12,000 boost is the equivalent of $100. And so Boeufmac wins 70%. Rubén wins 30%. Boom. Everyone gets paid out. GG, well played. And that's how easy it is on my side. And that's how easy it is also for the players, not having to wait for... Did I say there was an error processing my payments? Let's try that one more time. There we go. There we go. In and in. Ending the Invitational. Verified. GG, well played. And let's see. Rich, retweet the latest tweet of ours, please. Oh, yeah. Happy to do that one. Let me go ahead and find... Did you guys tag me in it? Did you guys actually tag me in that tweet? Or not? It's just a general tweet. And, guys, maybe they'll help me figure out exactly... And also, look at that. There's the... I'll show you guys this. There's the recreate button. So I can just go, boom, and make that same tournament again. From a tournament organizer standpoint, that sort of stuff is pretty cool. This was the 8 Pros bracket. We'll be doing more of these. Also, I'll be doing open tournaments as well here with Geyser in general on my channel overall. I think Boeufmac might have just stopped in to say hello. And, hey, GG, well played, Boeuf. Really, really proud. Nice work. 9-1 on the day against some serious competition. Very, very excited. So the update went out yesterday, so they're going to re-update to put the cash out or the card out option back in. And Colton, thanks again, dude. It's always fun to have you come and hang out and chat and cast. And anytime you want to join during the Brian Chong Cup, let me know, man. I'll be hitting you up because it's always nice to have your insight.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me on again. I'll definitely try to cast with that as well.
Sweet. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put Colton's links in the show notes as well. If you're watching on Twitch and Trovo, thanks for hanging out, guys. And on YouTube, of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There's another video, and all the relevant links and stuff will be in the chat below for Geyser, for the streams, all that sort of stuff. That's going to be it for today. It's been good hanging out with you guys. I'm Rich Slaton. I'll see you back here tomorrow for qualifiers for the Bren Chong Cup. And if you go to me on Twitter, at Rich Slaton, which is right down there, you can find all the qualifier information for the Bren Chong Cup, which will be starting off, I believe today is the first round of qualifiers, and then tomorrow through Thursday, more qualifiers for this big 10-day, $6,000 event, which will have pros invited and, of course, open qualifiers for you guys. That's going to be it. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. It's been fun. Mwah. Later, kids. Bye.